Good morning, and welcome to UU Catskills. I'm Joyce White, a member of the Worship Committee, and I use she, they pronouns. Many thanks to our technical team this morning, Bruce Wilde, our sanctuary technical host, and Jetty Giddy, our good host, Zoom host, for their help with this morning's service. We're excited to have attendees both in person as well as virtually via Zoom. If you're new to the congregation this morning, you can stand and introduce yourself if you would like. If you're comfortable, we'd like you to share your pronouns. You can visit our website. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was too slow. Barbara.
Thank you.
My name is Michael. I'm Inez.
Good morning.
Welcome, Michael.
And my neighbors.
I'm sorry. My name is Chang. I'm him.
Good morning. Thank you.
I'm Sean, he, him.
Oh, a big welcome to everyone. You can visit our website, uucatskills.org, to find contact information, to be added to the mailing list, and to find the latest newsletter. You will also find newsworthy items on upcoming events at UU Catskills and in our weekly updates as well. If you are a visitor online and would like to be added to our mailing list, you can put your name and address, your email address in the chat box area on Zoom. A reminder that people of all ages, children young and old, are welcome here at UU Catskills. There is a space across the hall for anyone who would like to be able to hear the service while being able to freely move about. Please take a moment now and turn off your electronic devices. Give yourself permission to be fully present here and now. I have a few announcements this morning. Check out the Social Action Committee loan library in the sanctuary hallway. It's right over there. Please help yourself to a book of interest. Take a look at the action requests from our UU Social Service Justice. And here's one of the wonderful books that you will find there. There will be a folk music concert here this afternoon presented by Coco and Bruce Wilde's First Acoustics. Rachel Kilgore, a nationally known singer-songwriter from Minnesota, will be performing at 3 o'clock. There will be light refreshments before, starting at 2:30. They hope many of you will stick around for this show or come back at 2:30. If you'd like to learn more, please contact Coco, she moved, or Bruce after the workshop. And one more, our Blue Jeans Sunday was incorrectly listed on our slides as today. It's next Sunday, so everyone's free to wear their jeans next week. And after our service, please stay for an in-person or virtual coffee break. Unitarian Universalism is a liberal religious faith that carries no creed and welcomes all seekers. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are in life's journey, you are welcome here. We are guided by a set of principles and written sources that encompass the many ways we come to know and understand the world, the universe, and the divine. Our principles are important to us at UU Catskills, and we live our values on a daily basis. We affirm that Black Lives Matter. We are a welcoming and affirming congregation for the LGBTQ community. We are a congregational affiliate of the Ulster Immigrant Defense Network. We are an active voice in the effort to address climate change. Our sanctuary is built on the tribal land of the Lenni Lenape people, currently known as Kingston. Our prelude this morning is Romance No. 2 by Clara Schumann, played by Catherine Catabiani, she, her. Jake is going to light the chalice this morning, and Hazel, and I'll invite Amel and Lisa if they'd like to come up and help.
Want to blow it out? No, I'll do it. It's like a little.
Thank you, Jake.
It's
Is
a
anyone
hat that
else?
makes it.
It's a witch's hat.
It does look like a hat.
It's a magic hat.
Please join me in saying the chalice lighting words in your order of service. Light this chalice in grateful, loving community. Even in the darkest of times, may its flame light path to courage, justice, and hope. And now please join me in saying our unison affirmation, which is also in your order of service. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love to all living beings. May we know once again that we are not isolated, but connected in wonder and joy, a mystery and miracle in the universe, and each and each other. Our opening words today are by Jen Anderson Shattuck, early childhood education and member at the Unitarian Church of Barnstable, and read by Kate White-Hauk.
Good morning. I was a weird kid, quirky, a misfit. The other children didn't like me much for a variety of reasons. I walked with a limp. I used big words. I dressed at 9 like a miniature Katharine Hepburn. I was, although none of us could have known it then, queer in every sense of that word. At school, where I struggled socially, I was assigned a team of adults, physical therapist, adjustment counselor, assorted others, whose collective task was to fix these things, my various deficiencies. If I worked hard enough, they said, if I listened to their advice to move my body more carefully, to stop reciting Shakespeare at recess, I wouldn't have to sit alone at lunch. I wouldn't have to stay home from parties and sleepovers. This is what I heard. The other kids are right about you. If you change, hide, pretend, lie, if you let us, the caring experts, reshape you into someone the world will accept, you'll be happier. We'll be happier with you. We worked together, the team and I, for 12 years. The only thing that ever changed was that I came to believe about myself. I believed that everything I thought and felt and did, everything that came naturally, everything true, was wrong and in need of correction. I wish someone had told me to be patient. I wish someone had said, this is a small town. There are others like you out there, somewhere else. If you wait, you will find them. In the meantime, we support you. I made my way eventually. I have a full and happy life. But getting here wasn't easy. You know a weird kid. Maybe it's your own. Maybe it's someone else's. That kid is depending on you. Don't waste your time trying to fix them. Just listen. They will tell you who they are, where they're going, and what they need. Love the hell out of that kid, my friends. They'll thank you someday.
And now we have our children's story for all ages. My Shadow is Purple by Scott Stewart. My dad has a shadow that's blue as a berry, and my mom's is as pink as a blossoming cherry. There's only two choices, a 2 or a 1, but mine is quite different. It's both and it's none. If theirs are straight, then mine's a circle. For my shadow's different. My shadow is purple. My shadow loves playing with all sorts of toys, things played by girls and things played by boys. I dance with the pinks as they turn and they spin, and play sports with the blues as they lose and they win. Some of my friends think I'm simply confused, but the thing I love most is not having to choose. Some tell me I'm blue. Only blue can be strong. But my mom's strong too, and I think that they're wrong. Some tell me I'm pink, 'cause pink's the most caring. But Dad's always crying and loving and sharing. Why can't I love sport and dancing and trains and ponies and glitter and engines and planes? Why must I choose and exclude all the rest? I love choosing both because both is the best. And now it's time for the greatest event. The school dance is here. The invite's been sent, I'm ready to rock, and I'm feeling cute. My mom made my skirt, and my dad made my suit. I bounce through the door and I gasp as I enter. The room split in two, right down the center. Blue shadows go left, pink shadows go right. Once we split up, we'll kickstart this night. Everyone's laughs as they head to their zones, and right in the middle, I'm left all alone. I look to the left, and where the shadows are blue, they wave me over saying, "You are blue too." And then I look to the right as I struggle to think, and they call me over. "Come on, you're a pink." The teacher walks up looking rather amused. "I know you are different, but now you must choose." My heart just starts racing and tears fill my eyes. I know I must choose, but I don't understand why. The room has gone quiet and everyone's looking. My cheeks are so red, they feel like they're cooking. If I cannot be purple, then I cannot stay. I'll leave and go home, I quietly say. I slowly start walking. My legs are like jello. A voice breaks the silence. "My shadow's yellow." My eyes open wide, my shadow it gawks. A child walks to the middle, looks up and talks. There's more than two colors our shadows can be. I was too scared before, but blue is not me. I know from outside blue fits like a glove, but my shadow's yellow, which to me feels like love. They turn with a smile and take hold of my hand. "Who wants to join us? There's room here to stand." At first, no one moves. Then a hand's in the air. My shadow's as brown as a big grizzly bear. My shadow's red, mine's silver. Mine's green, mine's violet. Mine's orange, mine's aquamarine. They all rush to join us, whatever their color, blue, pink, and purple, and shadows called other. I look at each shadow, no two are the same. On each happy face, there's no trace of shame. Each different and special and fully unique, no color's stronger and no color's weak. The teacher comes over as we're joined as one. Whatever your color, start dancing, have fun. Please join me in singing our children on their way this morning. As you leave this friendly place, love give light to every face, and the kindness which you learn, light your hearts till you return. Here at UU Catskills, we all share our gifts of our talent. Applause is not necessary. Anna White-Hauk will play St. Elizabeth, Queen of Appalachia. Anna's pronouns are she and they.
Good morning. Just a little introduction for this song, and we'll see if I can say it without crying. So this song is titled St. Elizabeth. That's the name of my mom. And you'll have the lyrics, so you can follow along. Sorry for the typo. And the whole point of this song is to honor my mom. She is from Kentucky, both my parents are. And both my parents are liberal and progressive, but their families they came from are not, particularly my mom's family. So some members are, part of kind of our ideology and our forward thinking and others are not. And she somehow, as the saint she is, has found a way to continue to love the people who don't seem to be able to love the people that she created. So she manages to love and support and fight for the rights of her 2 queer daughters, myself and my younger sister, while bridging the divide between us and the family she came from, who just can't quite get with it. So it's about her. I am the great-granddaughter of an Appalachian queen. Tiara crystals made of foil and glass are passed down generations, and we've been rich and poor and everything between, with our differences pulling at the seams. We don't know how to throw things out just in case someday we need them. But while my side is fighting for our rights, the others try to take them. And our commonalities are far and few between, and we can't heal the past through just the love of gardening. Not when they've all got their yard signs that tell me to repent. And we're down at the Capitol chanting in dissent, 'cause I can't change my heart and they won't change their minds. And somehow Saint Elizabeth is bridging that divide. She wears a smile walking on our coals through the fire. It comes as no surprise, I'm my own worst enemy. I tend to get caught up in all those bad old memories. But Holy Saint Elizabeth is just 10 steps away. She's the reason I am anchored to this place. And where she walks, the hollyhocks and lilies bloom in bursting glory. Where she sleeps, the fireflies glow as she tells the story of how you learned to chase the moon. It's how you got your wonder. She'll tell you that she's missing you, but she's happy that you found your thunder. 'Cause they've got their yard signs that tell me to repent. And we're down at the Capitol chanting in dissent. 'Cause I can't change my heart and they won't change their minds. And somehow Saint Elizabeth is bridging that divide. She wears a smile walking on our coals through the fire. Oh, Saint Elizabeth, hear my prayer. If anyone has the ear of God, it's her. I don't know how much she inherited and how much she has earned through the silent pain of bearing all this weight. Oh, Saint Elizabeth, the patron saint of fighting to keep the peace at her own expense. Saint Elizabeth, oh, hear my prayer. The patron saint of calming all my fears. I remember playing pennies in the castle of mother of a saint. She had to know her way around cutthroat business. I once went to live there when the world felt too damn small. But I just felt too big and couldn't deal with it all. Not when they've all got their yard signs that tell me to repent. And she's down at the Capitol chanting in dissent. 'Cause I can't change my heart, and they won't change their minds. And somehow Saint Elizabeth is bridging that divide. Whoa, somehow Saint Elizabeth is bridging that divide. Oh, holy Saint Elizabeth is bridging that divide. She wears a smile, walking on our coals through the fire. We all may be the daughters of Appalachian queens, but they'll wear their broken crystal crowns while we wear those of thorns. We look to Saint Elizabeth to show us how to fight and how to smile, walking on our coals through the fire. With Saint Elizabeth, we walk through the fire.
We ask if you have a special joy or concern that you'd like to share with us this morning. You can raise your hand. Ellen will take the microphone around to you. Today we're instituting something new. In recognition of International Pronoun Day, please share your pronouns if you feel safe and comfortable doing so. Danielle, she, her, will place the stones in a bowl of water as a symbol of our community caring for your joy or concern. I pray for the people of Israel and Palestine. We are one global family living tenuously on the same human-impacted earth. Let us center ourselves in justice as we call for peace. And I have one more stone for our unspoken joys and concerns, which carry the same weight. As we gather together, may we remember, when you share with me what is important to you, that is where listening begins. When I show you that I hear you, when I say that your life matters, that is where compassion begins. These words were excerpted from All That We Share is Sacred by Andre Moll. Let us now be still for a few moments of silent meditation. And I'll ring the chime when we're done. It is now time for our offering. You can give in several ways. Drop something in the basket when it's passed. Use the QR code in your order of service, or give by going to uucatskill.org. We contribute to worthy organizations with our half-plate donation. This money will be shared among our 7 charitable groups. Please give generously. Our offertory this morning is The Bright Wind of Heaven by John Maynard and sung by our occasional choir. We thank you for your gifts. In October, we commemorate 2 days: National Coming Out Day on October 11th and International Pronoun Day on October 18th. We tend to think of these as LGBTQ holidays, but they actually apply to all of us. When we talk about coming out of the closet, we're generally referring to someone's sexual or gender identity. But a closet is any hard conversation that you fear having. It can be a divorce, a serious illness, loss of a job. Closets and pronouns are universal. We all have or have had closets. If you've been around UU Catskills long enough, you've heard us talk about living your authentic lives, being true to your own personality, values, and spirit. It is who you are at your deepest core. As you listen this morning, I hope you will reflect on that and think about throwing open your own closet door, or at least peeking out. Because sometimes we just don't feel safe opening it all the way. But perhaps more importantly, think about how we can make each other feel safe enough to leave their closet. The closet door swings both ways. UU Catskills has been designated as a welcoming congregation by the Unitarian Universalist Association. We affirm and include lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer people at every level of congregational life, in worship, in programs, in social occasions, welcoming them as whole people. In order to keep this UUA identification, we need to renew it yearly. About 2 years ago, UUA suggested that instead of a renewal, which would require a committee and a committee chair, both things that were in short supply post-pandemic, we approach it differently. Spend a year moving from welcoming to affirming. Now, we're already a welcoming congregation, so why become affirming? And what's the difference? Welcoming is come in, sit down, and listen. You can attend, but we prefer that you dress a certain way, act a certain way, and look like us. Affirming is accepting someone's full personhood, accepting them as an equal part of our community, just the way they are. Reverend Kimberly Debus, a UU minister, says it this way: "We've been doing belonging all wrong in our congregations, because while we say the words, 'We welcome everyone,' there can be subconscious judgment." She's told the story before about the greeter who stood outside and sent people who we thought didn't belong to other congregations down the street. And yes, that's an extreme example. But we often do it in the ways we judge where people live or work, or just the ways they express their gender or sexuality, or how we tokenize people of color, or how we set up expectations of financial contributions, or how we struggle to accommodate accessibility for all in favor of comfort or aesthetics. And then we wonder why people don't stay. It's not because they don't belong, it's because they don't fit in. And as someone who spent the first 40 years of her life trying to fit in, she tells us that it's exhausting when you think you found a community to belong to and learn that you're on the outside, because the truth about you means that you don't fit in, again. For some of us, when we came into our faith community, our whole selves, with the fullness of all that we are and all that we have experienced, were welcomed, and we found we belonged. We have to welcome others with an openness that says, your whole self, with the fullness of all that you are and all that you have experienced, belongs here. And we will learn about you as you learn about us, and we will love you, all of you. We also see this in the secular community. In her memoir, Becoming, Michelle Obama talks about her experience as an undergrad student at Princeton. At the time, Princeton was less than 8% Black, mostly male and affluent, and it was the first time Michelle had been a minority. Some students made it clear that she, as a Black female, didn't belong there. She was criticized for isolating and hanging out with the other Black students at the end of the day and not making an effort to assimilate. But her truth was that it took extra effort to act confident and comfortable when she was often the only non-white student in the classroom, sports team, or social group. She had to work even harder to overcome racial stereotypes, and at the end of the day, she was tired and just wanted to be who she was and accepted as she was. Like Jen Shattuck, that weird kid in our reading this morning, the burden of assimilating always falls on the shoulders of the minorities. Can we do more for our members and visitors at UU Catskills to affirm their whole personhood and offer them a sense of belonging? Or are we asking people to absorb our culture while suppressing theirs? Since we moved towards affirming in our congregation a year or so ago, we've accomplished quite a bit. We started a small group ministry for LGBTQ members and allies, introduced rainbow face masks, added more LGBTQ services to our calendar, activated our social action team, installed a pride flag at the entrance to our sanctuary, added our pronouns to our name tags, and started using our pronouns when we introduce ourselves. We made our bathrooms gender neutral, attended Pride in place of our usual Sunday service, and now we have our special occasion Pride candle for our chalice, if you saw it this morning. And we saw an increase in LGBTQ visitors. We've come a long, long way in the past year, and we have a lot to celebrate. But we still have work to do. We've started a social group for our LGBTQ members. We're continuing our small group ministry for LGBTQ members and allies starting next month. Reverend Diane has agreed to perform a transitioning ceremony for anyone changing their identity or name, both in our congregation and in the general community. She was recently contacted by someone in Albany asking about a ceremony. Now, we haven't announced this yet, and Albany's not exactly down the street. So she asked how they knew that we offered this, and the person said they asked around, and they were told that UU was the likeliest place to find this. And not only that, but UU Catskills has the most LGBTQ-friendly congregation in the region. And I can't tell you how proud and grateful I was to hear that. Like the words sung by the occasional choir this morning, the winds of October are blowing away hate and old ideas. Going forward, as we work on our own closets, how can we be more affirming to each other, our members and our visitors, and encourage them to leave their closets? I'm taking part in a UUA program, Caring for Trans Families. And like many UUA programs, the teachings are universal. Care for trans families translates to caring for any group. UUA suggests that the most important task for congregation is to preemptively educate them. Well, we were a little late in this. We already have non-binary and trans members and guests, and have members with trans children and grandchildren. We've learned that nationwide, UU non-binary and trans members are experiencing congregations waiting to address gender issues until they have a visibly recognizable trans or non-binary visitor, member, or staff. Misgendering or using the wrong pronoun or name. Expecting trans or non-binary people to be the primary trans or non-binary information resource for the congregation. Obtaining welcoming congregation status and then stopping at that. Avoidance, exclusion from others. And binary language such as ladies and gentlemen. And how does it feel when we make these mistakes? Non-binary members tell us they often feel unseen, unaffirmed, and generally not belonging. One of the ways to support non-binary and trans people is to avoid using binary language. And this may seem like a new concept, but UU Catskills removed binary pronouns from our bylaws and policies 10 years ago. I can remember when he was the normal assumption in our language. It was meant to refer to everyone. And things started to change with the women's movement, and it changed to he or she, and then he/she, or s/he. Language is constantly changing. Now, the American Psychological Association format for professional papers uses they to refer to someone's unknown gender. Colleges and universities are commonly removing binary pronouns from their communications. The Associated Press is doing the same, and our own Daily Freeman is having these conversations. International Pronoun Day is the third week of October. And to be honest, I didn't know this even existed. And you might not know, but probably wouldn't be surprised to learn that this was founded by a UU minister, Reverend Shige Shikari, Director of Equity, Belonging, and Change at UUA. In 2016, they were frustrated and distressed by the political climate and wrote down their thoughts about pronouns as an act of resistance, and eventually founded International Pronoun Day. Looking back, they had no idea how much could spring forth from the simple act of writing down their thoughts, the act of doing the next thing that they could do, the next thing that was possible. We've been taught from childhood that we can tell a person's gender just by looking at them, by their clothes, hairstyle, or name. But this is not always true. The act of making these assumptions, even if they are correct, sends a potentially harmful message that people have to look and act a certain way to demonstrate the gender that they are or are not. Sexual orientation is not binary, gay on one end and straight on the other. There's all the LGBTQ wonderfulness in between. And as we know, gender is also not binary. It's not female at one end and male at the other, but many points in between. Gender expression works the same way. I was correctly assigned female at birth, but my gender expression falls somewhere in between female and male. and clothing is particularly hard for me. As a child, I was taught that girls wore dresses to school and Sunday school. As I got older, I learned that dresses were required also at holiday dinners and any event involving churches, such as weddings and funerals. And it was drummed into me that it was disrespectful to enter a church without wearing a dress. It was unforgivable in my childhood. Luckily, the world has evolved since then, but it's still hard for me to get rid of that voice in my head. I'm very uncomfortable wearing a dress, and my first question when receiving an invitation to a more formal dress occasion is always, do I have to wear girl clothes? Although, some of my best Halloween costumes have been when I've dressed as a woman. UU Catskills is a casual congregation, thankfully, and I don't feel a need to show up in a dress. Those of you who know me know that my go-to outfit is jeans and a t-shirt and a pair of Crocs, preferably glow-in-the-dark neon. But when I decided to serve on the worship committee, those old voices about disrespectful with my clothing came back full force. What could I possibly wear that could reconcile who I am with this crazy idea that I needed to be really uncomfortable in order to be respectful? And do you remember the definition of a closet? That we all have hard truths and closets are universal? This is one of mine. And by sharing it, I've pretty much guaranteed that every time I'm standing up here, everyone's going to be looking at my clothes, the thing that makes me the most insecure. And I'm okay with that because I feel safe here. And that is what I want each and every one of us, members and visitors, to experience. Feeling safe enough to open the closet door, even just a little bit. It's a privilege to appear in a way that fits both your gender and the pronouns that many people associate with your gender. If you're a man and your outward appearance is masculine and your pronouns are he and him, you have gender privilege. In other words, if people's assumptions are correct, never having to name those assumptions begins to normalize the very process of making assumptions, which for others may be incorrect. So let's start by assuming that people can't determine our genders, even if we think they can. If we have gender privilege, and most of us at UU Catskills do, this will feel strange at first. But sharing your pronouns is a great way to disrupt the normalization and assumption and the privilege of assumption. And that feels revolutionary. And what could be more UU? The most likely opportunities are when you meet people for the first time. Another is when you introduce yourself during Joys and Concerns or during a committee meeting. Our meetings often start by asking us to introduce ourselves, so it's easy to add, tell us your pronouns. The third way is any time you're in the pulpit or any other time you're addressing the congregation. So how does this work? When you introduce yourself, simply say something like, hi, I'm Joyce, and I use she, they pronouns. How should I refer to you? Now that sounds easy, but it does take some practice. I still forget sometimes, and I still misgender people. And remember, not everyone feels safe or comfortable declaring their pronouns. No one, including you, should feel that they have to do this, but it's an easy way to be welcoming and affirming. Keep in mind that there is a privilege of appearing in a way that fits both your gender and the pronouns that many people associate with your gender. If we assume that using pronouns is only for the LGBTQ community, we've treated them as others and told them that they do not belong. And let's remember the universalness of closets. We all have them, but I urge everyone to work towards opening their doors and not just your own. Showing our vulnerability and self-honesty will encourage others to do the same, and we will move from being a welcoming congregation to an affirming one. And while it may be a little late for our congregation to preemptively educate ourselves on non-binary and transgender issues as UU suggests, preemptive is an essential. I know with certainty that we are a kind and loving congregation, and we've got this. Please stand if you're able and join in singing hymn number 407. We're going to sit at the welcome table. Our closing words this morning are by the Reverend Kimberly Debus, a UU minister in the DC area. Universalism reminds us that we are loved and whole and worthy no matter our successes or failures. Universalism values our uniqueness, our gifts, and our quirks, and honors our longing with belonging. Universalism tells us to keep coming back because there is always a love holding us. Universalism reminds us that we all belong, all of us, with all of who we are, fully on display, fully us, fully welcome. That is sacred. It is an intimate affirmation of infinite possibility. Let us extinguish the flame with these words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. Go in peace.